My reading room is in shambles and my TBR a little bit more so. Today, I'm going to be going through my physical TBR and then also just going through the books that I have read and kind of getting rid of some of the books that don't really fit what I want anymore, clearing some room, making more room on my shelves, organizing kind of my little knickknacks, and then just generally all around cleaning because I start school on Monday. It's currently Thursday, and I have only the weekend to kind of get my space in order when my classes start and I start having to use this room to do a lot more studying. I'm going to be putting on a video from Books by Nichelle. If you have not heard of her, I'm going to link her YouTube in my description. She is so good. She does entire recaps of books. She's hilarious, so funny. I always enjoy her takes. Right now, I've gone back to some of her older videos that I've watched before, but I'm rewatching, and she's recapping Crown of Midnight in Throne of Glass. So I'm gonna put that in. I think my first order of business is going to be clearing out this shelf. These have not been dusted in way too long. So I think I'm gonna take everything off of the shelf, stack it all up, and then dust, and then kind of from there decide what gets put back on and what doesn't, and I'll walk you through my thought process on that. Okay, I guess change of plans. Books by Nichelle just posted a couple days ago. It says emergency meeting ACOTAR 6 and 7 covers, and I have yet to see anything online about that. So I will be watching that and figuring out what those two look like, because the fact that we're getting two ACOTAR books in 1 year is, I'm not okay. And you cannot reach me when those come out. You can't. You can't. So as it tends to go in cleaning, I guess it's going to be worse before it gets any better. So this is kind of, yeah. Okay, so the last time I filmed was like 2 days ago. It's now Friday night at 8:50 p.m. and my phone died and I got no more footage. Also, in the footage I did have, my head was in fact cut off. So we're just gonna refilm it and that'll be fine. What I had gone through with what I had filmed, that is not making it into this video because it's terrible, was me going through my current physical TBR and deciding what I was keeping, what I wasn't. For the sake of not having to repeat myself, even though you don't see that, I will be kind of doing a quick recap rather than sorting it live on camera because I've already done that. These are the books that I am not keeping. These are the books in my physical TBR that I am keeping. And then all of these behind me were books on here that I still have to decide whether or not I'm getting rid of them. I'll quickly kind of give my reasonings behind why I'm keeping certain books and why I'm not keeping others. For my not keep pile, I have The Kiss of Deception. I have had this book since 2021 or 2022. I have read Mary Pearson's Dance of Thieves series or duology, loved it, tried reading this, just never got into it, and I just have a feeling I won't. Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This one I wanted to try a Haley Pham recommended book. I really enjoy watching her YouTube videos, and although I do know that we don't have the same taste normally in books, I figured if it comes so highly recommended, I want to try reading it. I did not realize it was set in high school, and I really don't enjoy reading romances set in high school. For that reason, I'm not going to be keeping Better Than the Movies, and I probably will try and pick up a Lynn Painter book, but it just won't be this one. Next up, Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I truly don't really know what this is about. I think it's a memoir. I got it in a bundle of books when I bought a series off of someone. And they just were like, oh, I also have this book. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, sure. So just because I didn't get it for myself, I just don't have an interest in reading it. So not taking that one. This one, The Lost Apothecary. It is set, I think it's like kind of a fantasy. Maybe it's kind of literary something. Just, I don't think it's set in a time period that I'm really interested in. I don't think, yeah, I just generally am not super interested in it. It is a book of the month book, which is cool. I got it from a free little library, and I think at the time I just got it because I was like, got a book to get rid of. This one's cool, but it's just not something that I'm gonna read, so I don't feel like there's any point. I've probably had it for about 2 years. Then last, we have What Once Was Mine. It is a Disney Twisted Tale. A friend had it and was like, I don't want this anymore. You want it? I was like, yeah, sure. Haven't read it, won't read it, just not interested. So putting this in this pile. For the books I'm keeping, we'll start with the top. I have Light Lark. I got this book probably 2022. So 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. I've moved with it twice. Haven't read it, haven't even gotten a chapter in, just purchased it. I do believe that it is, yeah, it is like kind of a dystopian, and I'm not really a huge dystopian reader, so I haven't read it for that reason, but I also have heard really good things about it. I've had it for a very long time, so I really do want to try and give it a go. So I'm going to keep it. And I think I'm going to be doing, I definitely am going to be doing kind of a reading challenge where I work through my physical TBR to kind of force myself to read the books that I am going to be keeping. Next up, we have Three Shattered Souls by Mai Cortland. I have read both the first and second book. I started reading this one. I don't know why I DNF'd it. I'm like a quarter in. Cannot remember what was happening or why I DNF'd it. I just think at the time I really wasn't interested. I have here in my hand a signed copy of this book. I don't know if keeping a book solely because it's a signed copy is a good reason to keep a book, but for me, I'm like, what if I read this and it's my favorite book ever, but I've gotten rid of this copy and I just get a random copy? And then I didn't have this signed copy of my favorite book ever. So I'm going to give Virginia Boaker a try. This one, I think it would just break my heart too much to get rid of an Emily Henry book, but there probably will be a day when I get rid of this book. I absolutely adore Emily Henry. Truly, truly. This for me, I did not like this book. I personally really did enjoy, in this book, you're following two characters who are going to try and publish a story on someone like on this island or something like that. And they're basically fighting to be able to tell the story, but what you don't realize is that the person they're telling the story on is kind of orchestrating them actually telling the story together. It is just very insta-lovey or like insta-lusty, and the characters just start hooking up like immediately and just are like, you guys don't even like each other like one iota, like not at all. So for that reason, did not enjoy. I mean, yeah, I'm like a quarter in. I don't feel like there's been any true connection between the characters, and the insta lust really took me out of the story and took me out of just my normal enjoyment from an Emily Henry book. So I'm keeping it. Maybe I'll try and tackle it in the future, but I'm not sure. The more I talk about how much I didn't like my experience reading this, the more I want to get rid of it. But again, I'm not entirely sure. Next we have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, keeping that. Next we have The Priory of the Orange Tree and The Bone Season. I've had this book since 2022. I have DNF'd it twice, which really doesn't, I guess, bode well for me in terms of finishing it. However, at the time that I picked it up, I had just gotten back into reading as an adult that year. And then the time I tried it again, I think was maybe a year or so later. So I don't feel like I was as established as a reader as an adult. And I think that just generally it might have been too much for me to get through at that point. This is really sad, it is ripped. I have Mr. President, How Long Must We Wait? Now we have book 3 of City of Glass. I think I got this at a free little library. I don't have the first or second one. I've just heard that the series is good. A lot of people are really big fans, so I figured I would keep the third one, and when it's time to read the series, at least I would have the third one. Now these 11 books are going to be on my physical TBR. Now we are going to be going through these books. I'm going to start with a really easy one. I'm going to be getting rid of all of my Katie Robert books. It's really not my type of book that I tend to go for anymore. And so I'm just going to be putting them in the get rid of pile. Next, I have the Sisters Grimm book series. These I read as a kid. I probably read them multiple times. Keeping Anne of Green Gables. I just absolutely adore Anne of Green Gables. Very much keeping that. Pucking Around, Emily Rath, enough said. Great book, love it. Do I cringe when I read it? Yes, but do I also really deeply enjoy the emotional depth of the characters and their relationships and everything like that? Also yes. Percy Jackson, still, yep. It is still in the plastic wrapping, but obviously I have read Percy Jackson many times. To go with that, Mark of Athena, Sarah J. Maas. I read this one. That Summer Feeling, would read again. Red, White, Royal Blue. Love, 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 love the movie. I've watched it many, many times. The book, I was not interested in all the politics. No, thank you. The Unhoneymooners, no. I remember it was like fine, and I'm just not interested. And then all of my Emily Henry books, absolutely love these. They're fun rereads. Favorite is Funny Story. Definitely keeping these. Now I need to reorganize this. It's now 10:10, so I have still all the restocking left to do. I am listening to books by Nichelle, obviously. I'm re-listening to the Throne of Glass recap still. So, what video am I on? I'm on Air of Fire at the moment, on her recap of Air of Fire. So, I'm going to be reorganizing this one first because this is the most, and I would just absolutely love to get these books off of my shelf. So let's go.
Bring me into golden sunlight. If I'm going with you, I know we'll get to the other side. Sinking in, I know this feels right. Catching a breeze, love moving through me like a wildfire, like a wildfire. Never the same. Never you calling my name, I'm taking my sweet time. Hey, whatever the plan, I know I'm holding the best of me out of my hand. I know you always understand. Bring me into golden sunlight. If I'm going with you, I know we'll get to the other side. Sinking in, I know this feels right. Catching a breeze, love moving through me like a wildfire, like a wildfire.
I've officially wrapped up my complete book room office overhaul. Right next to me are the books that I'm getting rid of. I want to quickly count how many books that I currently own versus the amount that I am getting rid of. So let's quickly count and go from there. Okay, just in terms of the books I'm keeping, I currently have 75 books. And then with the books I'm getting rid of, I have 15 books. I do have more books over in my husband's office. So if we count the books I have in here, actually they might be on a different shelf. Wait. They're somewhere in this house. Hold on. I don't know where they are. I have the Alex Rider collection, and that is somewhere. And I have a couple of other books that I feel like I'm missing. So I don't know where those are, but 15 books that I'm getting rid of and then 75 books in total. I feel like that's pretty good. It is now 11 p.m. and I'm officially unable to keep a sentence straight, but I'm so glad I was able to film this video. It was really nice to be able to see what I have in my collection and what's actually on my physical TBR. I think now that I've gotten rid of some of those books that have been sitting on the TBR that have just been on my mind about reading, but I was never really going to actually get to. And also just being able to clear out my space, my books in general, I'm feeling a lot better about what I do have on my physical TBR. I think that it gives me a better perspective of what I actually want to read and the books that I'm trying to get into in the future. So I am so glad I got to film this, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye. Oh my God, I'm done.